The Detroit Lions, a team that, for decades, was treated like the NFL's ultimate punchline. A franchise that wasted Barry Sanders. A franchise that wasted Calvin Johnson. A franchise that lived in the shadow of endless rebuilds, heartbreaks, and ridicule. But fast forward to 2025, and you start to notice something strange. People aren't just underestimating the Lions again, they're forgetting just how dangerous they really are. Let's break it down.
Are people seriously forgetting how good the Detroit Lions are? Because if you've been listening to all the hype around the 49ers, the Eagles, or even the Cowboys, you'd think the NFC is already decided. But let me remind you of something. The Lions were one game away from the Super Bowl last year. One game away. And this isn't some fluke miracle run. This is the product of years of building, of changing a culture, of transforming one of the NFL's most mocked franchises into a legitimate powerhouse. Yet somehow, when analysts talk about contenders, they act like Detroit doesn't exist. That's the mistake. Because in 2025, the Lions are not just contenders, they're flat out dangerous.
The first thing you notice about this team is the shift in its DNA. For decades, the Lions tried to reinvent themselves in someone else's image. They'd chase star quarterbacks, they'd hire safe coaches, they'd attempt to copycat the blueprints of franchises like New England, Green Bay, or Pittsburgh. But when Dan Campbell arrived, everything changed. Campbell didn't come in pretending to be the next Belichick. He didn't talk about schemes or analytics in a detached, robotic way. Instead, he made the Lions about grit, about heart, about culture. People laughed when he talked about biting kneecaps, but behind the soundbite was something deeper. A team that finally had permission to stop apologizing for being tough. And that shift in culture has carried them to this moment, where in 2025, the Lions look like one of the NFC's most complete teams. Let's start with the offense. Jared Goff has been through the ringer in his career, from being a #1 overall pick to being traded as an afterthought by the Rams. Most quarterbacks don't survive that kind of blow to their reputation. But Goff has thrived in Detroit, and now, in 2025, he plays with the level of confidence that makes him one of the most stable quarterbacks in the entire conference. What makes Goff special isn't flashy athleticism or deep arm heroics. It's his calm under pressure and his willingness to trust the system around him. He understands the timing, he trusts his protection, and he distributes the football with precision.